customization is a thing of the past. But after 20 years in this business, we're still standing. Never giving up. Always moving forward. As the industry has changed, we've advanced. It's about thinking outside the box and redesigning the wheel. Striving for perfection, even in the smallest details. Innovation instead of imitation. Always looking forward, but never forgetting where we came from. It's about hard work and dedication, making the impossible look simple. Some say customization is a thing of the past. I say it's the future. We are West Coast Customs.
Everybody knows Cracker Jacks from back in the days when you were a kid. You always want to get the prize out of there. Well, they have a new brand called Cracker Jacked, which is more for guys that work in shops like this. So they have a project for us. We don't really know what it is, but they want to come out here, go over a couple ideas, and hopefully get a build out of this. Hey, guys.
Hey, how are you? I'm Dave from Cracker Jack.
Nice to meet you.
Great to see you. Cracker Jack is a great new product. You know, Cracker Jack has been around for 120 years, and while that's still a great product, we found out that we were kind of missing out on the younger consumers. We tried to figure out what do they want. We took a look at more intense flavors, more salty sweet, and something to keep them going through a busy day. And that's where we came up with Cracker Jack.
Out here is really kind of where all the magic happens.
We're really trying to work with clients to move beyond building brands and trying to build movements, things that people get really involved in, and that's one of the reasons why we're at West Coast.
So, well, we're happy to be here. We've got a new brand. We've got a lot to get across to people. We want them to get that these are snacks that keep them going through their busy day. And these snacks have impact. They have, granola, things people will need. So we want to make sure that whatever we do here is really appealing to that crowd, but also kind of gets across what this brand is all about, which is a snack that actually has impact.
You really have to taste it to believe in it, and so we knew that in order to do that, we'd have to have some sort of vehicle to get across the country to meet people out where they are.
This vehicle we're talking about, it's got to be something that catches their eye and at the same time makes them walk away feeling good about the brand.
One of the reasons why we're here to work with you guys is to do something that's so cool that people are going to want to talk about it.
So what is the vehicle? Is that like the question? Oh, it gets quiet.
We feel like we just want to give you our jacked up RV and let you...
Because usually, if we get a jacked up car to start with, I get it, but I've never really got a jacked up RV.
Yeah.
Cracker Jack is a small brand in a big company, and this vehicle has to be a magnet for whenever we're at colleges, when we are at conventions, car shows, and needs to bring people together. Ryan is one of the guys with the best ideas ever. So we're letting him do whatever he feels best.
The RV might be a little dusty, that's all.
I have a feeling when it shows up here, it's gonna be a little more than dusty. Yeah. But that's okay. Once I get it here, I'll obviously get a lot more ideas, but if I can start looking at some pictures with my artist, come up with some stuff, and then shoot you guys some ideas and concepts of it, and then once you say go, it'll be ready to rock and roll.
We're turning it into something new and fresh for 20 to 30-year-olds, and that's about the age of this RV. So
I had a great meeting. Since it is Snacks with an Impact, we want to do something that's impactful, something like a dunk tank maybe, where people are throwing stuff at it, keeps the crowd around the vehicle. I'm going to send Hunter right now to go pick it up. And in the meantime, I'm going to sit with Jeff, come up with some ideas, and then hopefully when the RV gets here, I'll have a rendering done, and I can get the guys working on it.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, buddy. So I got a...
Snack time?
Yeah, snack time. So I just had a meeting with Cracker Jacked. It's pretty unique the way it's set up. They built these bags that sit in cup holders. Very easy to tear with your mouth if you're like, and then eat it like this. And they have all different flavors. It's pretty cool. So their big thing is snack with an impact.
Okay.
So, it fills you up when you're on empty.
Yeah.
Fills you up to almost a full tank if you eat one bag.
The sailor there looks a little sinister now.
Yeah, he's stepped his game
and
up,
the dog,
Check out his dog. He's got a spike collar. He's a little tougher. So they want to take this RV, because they already own it, and do something cool with it. I'm thinking maybe a bullseye on the side of it where we make these bags like a beanbag style, so they can throw these at this bullseye. And the catch is, when they hit the bullseye, it's a dunk tank.
Into a dunk tank? So we're gonna build
we've
a
never
big
done
water tank in this
yeah,
thing?
like a big square, like where you could see in the
okay.
tank, you know,
Yeah.
on both sides. It's got to draw a crowd and stay there and hang out.
And we'll get rid of the duct tape and the Bondo, or
Yeah,
leave
well, the
that?
duct tape Bondo, you know, we'll have to smooth it out, make it a little bit nicer, and
All right.
we will wrap it. So I'll leave you some snacks for
Sounds
your
good. All right.
impact of a rendering you're gonna do. This can be an interesting one. It's not the typical build we do here, but again, it's outside the box, which is what we love to do. So I kind of gave him the challenge of we're gonna put a dunk tank in the back of this RV, and we wanna do some sort of bullseye system where you could throw these bags at the bullseye, you hit it, knocks a chick into the water, bada bing, bada boom.
We love doing weird things like this. I can get to work.
So the rendering came out amazing. I love it. Cracker Jack loves it. So now it's really get the RV in here, sit down with Kenny, and figure out how we're gonna get a dunk tank in the back of an RV.
All right, Kenny. Half of your work
Another
is already
RV?
done.
I know, stripped everything else.
Nice, and it's already pre-wired. Me and Jeff came up with some ideas for them. We finalized on doing a dunk tank. I think it's cool. These guys throw beanbag style bags
Cracker Jack
that look
bag.
like they're bags at this target. They hit the target, boom.
Putting a tank in the back of an RV, the biggest thing is weight. You know, when you have all that water in the back of this thing, so our biggest challenge is gonna be how to structurally build the whole bottom of the floor, plus get a tank through the roof, and also how the roof's gonna open.
I think this is clean, simple,
It's fun.
and it's fun. And once we get it done, I'll put you up there, and then I'll throw out
No,
the
I'm
thing.
gonna put you up there, I'm gonna take you down. Right on.
Cool. All right, let's do it. So me and Kenny just went over the RV. The exterior of it is gonna be wrapped. It's gonna have the Cracker Jack logos on it. And then the interior, we're gonna white the walls out, you know, really put some stainless steel walls, roof in it. So the next step is get the guys in there. They're gonna strip out the rest of the interior that's left. We're gonna get the slide outs out so we can figure out how to build the structure so we can get the tank built. To create a vehicle with an impact, we're gonna start with a 40-foot RV. The first step will be to redo the seats, cover the windows, and cut out the holes for the tank. When you're putting thousands of gallons of water in the back of an RV, you're gonna need some support. So we built a custom steel frame with bracing in the back. Next will be the custom wrap that really makes a statement. Then it's time to cut out the roof and drop in the tank. Add a giant bullseye with built-in sensors, and this ride's ready for dunking. To make sure no one misses out on the action, we're gonna mount a flat panel TV on the outside, streaming live from an underwater camera. White paneled walls and a DJ setup will give the interior a sleek look. All that's left is to fill up the tank, and this impact on wheels is complete. So suit up, because it's time to get wet. Coming up on West Coast Customs.
When they said it was jacked up, it was a true statement.
Let's talk about some Jack, Cracker Jack.
Now we'll finish getting everything welded up and on to the next thing.
Now that we got the Cracker Jacked RV in, it's really, truly jacked up. So when they said it was jacked up, it was a true statement. There's a lot of work that needs to be done to it. So the next step is get the full crew on it, get it broken down, start cutting out the holes for the actual dunk tank, and then figuring out what we're gonna do with structure and the rest of the interior. So the Cracker Jack people wanted the interior of this RV to basically be basic. But what I'm thinking is, we don't do anything basic. We need to do something custom, so we're gonna put our little touches on it. I'm gonna get with Ish, go over a plan on how we're gonna do the seats, maybe the dashboard and a couple other things, and then make sure we panel everything off.
Ishmael,
What up?
let's talk about some Jack, some Cracker Jack.
What's cracking with Cracker Jack?
Well, what's cracking is we need to jack up this RV, but not really jack it up. So it's pretty simple. You got two front seats, you got the dashboard, do the seats all black.
What is this, a TV?
Yeah, it's a TV. It's gonna have fish swimming around in it.
Oh, nice.
No, it's a dunk tank. So you'll stand here, and they're gonna have these little bags that look like the snack bags. You throw it at the target, it's gonna hit the chick into the water, and then the TV is gonna show a camera in the water and a camera on the target. They wanted to basically create
an experience that would come to an event and people would have fun and hang out around it. I said, let's do a dunk tank. I think some black vinyl, black leather, a little bit of embroidery. Simple. See, dude, I keep bringing you simple stuff.
Yeah, that's what I like.
Pretty soon. Be careful, though. Be careful. Be careful. It's coming. The tough one's coming.
Yeah, think so?
Yeah.
It's all good. I just met with Ryan about the Cracker Jack build. You know, it's gonna be pretty simple to me. It's just 2 seats, the dashboard, and maybe a few other panels that they come out with. So I'm happy because it's nothing major for me. You know, simplicity. That's what I like, simplicity. See you guys later.
I just met with Ish about the Cracker Jack build. He's seen the RV, you know, in the shop, seen what we're doing, but didn't really know the whole scope of the work. It's got all this cool stuff going on. The interior is gonna be pretty simple for him. He's got 2 seats, he's got a dashboard. I told him, let's put their logo on the dashboard, put the logo on the seats, maybe do black on black, get it done.
The logos for the Cracker Jack are here. It's gonna be one for Adrian, one for Sal, but the seats have to be ready by the end of today. Sal, the end of today. So one for you, one for Adrian.
All right, dash is in. Everything looks good. We're off to the back.
Coming up on West Coast Customs. We have a lot of work ahead of us.
Now we got the bus cut up, we gotta do is reinforce the whole entire bus. It's all said and done, the tank's supposed to weigh about 22,000 pounds.
This is real strong, real strong.
We have a lot of work ahead of us. Since we're putting a dunk tank in the back of an RV, we have to build a lot of structure. I mean, an RV is made out of really aluminum and foam, and there's really nothing to it. So once you cut these big holes in the side, we're gonna have to build a frame, we're gonna have to build some structure to really support the weight of a dunk tank with the water in it.
We've got our aluminum framework tacked in place, welded in now. We're gonna cut the back of the bus completely out and open it up so we can make our tank system in there now. It should be over 2,000 pounds. So I'm gonna tack one more bar in there just to support everything and keep rolling. I think that's a pretty favorable accomplishment right there.
Now we got the bus cut up, we gotta do is reinforce the whole entire bus. You know, right now, it's all basically a big panel. What we gotta do is cut out all the walls and reinforce with some 1.5 eighth wall tubing to really give it some structure back in the vehicle. After we get the structure back in the vehicle for all the viewing windows, what we're gonna do is basically build a false wall behind the tank to give it really some structure so it's not bracking. Then we gotta build a big humongous brace for the bottom of the chassis. So what we gotta do on the back end is also put a raising lowering jack system to actually hold the weight of the vehicle. So it's all said and done, the tank's supposed to weigh about 22,000 pounds, which is a lot of weight on the back end of a vehicle. But with the stands and everything, we should be good.
All right, now we've got our hole back here, our framework's all set up. I'm gonna put these gussets in. I'm gonna rivet everything back in. Already got one down here at the bottom. I'm gonna put one in each of the corners, tie everything back together, give it some more strength, some rigidity. That way it can hold the weight of the fish tank back here. There we go. Our gussets are all done, all riveted in, tied back together. We're gonna go underneath this thing now, start tying the support system in. Let's get going.
To make this tank right, We definitely got to outsource it outside of the shop. I mean, we try to do everything here, but building aquarium-style tanks is not our specialty. So we really need to go to somebody that specializes in it. So we found somebody down the street called Cal Aquaria. So I'm going to grab Kenny. We're going to go down there, check out their facility, see if this is a build that they want to take on.
This is Ryan.
For the most part, we specialize in the really custom tanks. We're more into the free form where we get involved with forming of oven sheet materials and doing some real custom designs.
So what do you think of this?
It's definitely interesting. Tell me a little bit about what you want to do.
Well, I mean, the concept was coming up with something that's cool for this brand, and they have an RV that they started working on, but they needed a cool factor, and then we came up with doing like a dunk tank.
I noticed this is a mobile exhibit. Obviously, you're going to drain this.
Correct. We have hydraulic jacks that go underneath the rear section of it, and we have a massive structure actually holding this thing up inside it.
Okay.
So I'm not worried about the structure of it. My biggest, I got to drain it, I got to filter it, I got to make sure it's ready for them on a day-to-day basis. So they park it, fill it, then they dump it.
As long as you can give me the details as far as how your application is going to be incorporated into the tank design so we can do the penetrations, I'm fine.
Yeah, we'll send you some data on the hole positioning and everything, and where we want the holes, and you can just go ahead and route it in position.
Looks very doable.
I think we're good.
Well, we're not far from you, so
Yeah,
we should
no,
be
it's
able to
good.
turn this around fairly quickly for you.
That's
Okay,
nice.
cool. Thank you, man. This is the way I like meetings to go.
Easy.
Yeah, I met with Ryan and Kenny regarding this custom tank project that they've got in the works, and we've reviewed the drawings together, talked about the concept. I see no problem in putting it together and getting this thing going for them.
So today, me and Kenny took a little field trip outside the shop. This is something we don't do. We don't build fish tanks. I think we picked a great company to do it, they're right down the street from the shop, and we learned something new today. The most important part of this build is actually the structure that's going to hold the tank. Since this tank weighs a ton without water in it, and it's going to be traveling across the country, we got to make sure this thing is right and safe.
Okay, so now we're getting ready to do the foundation for the water tank on the RV. So what we're gonna do is get all the metal supply, set it up on the table, start tacking. Manuel, let's do this thing. When you're welding, it gives you a lot of heat, so this way you clamp it down, it doesn't distort the metal. That way you know you're squared on all the framing. This is real strong, real strong.
One of the cool features we're going to add to the exterior of this RV is a TV. And the TV is actually going to show a camera inside the dunk tank. So when the person's dunk, you can see it on the TV out there, and the crowd's going to go crazy. So what we're going to do is take one of the existing windows, cut it to fit a TV, and then actually cover all the rest of the windows. So once we wrap this vehicle, you'll be able to see the graphics, you'll be able to see the logos, and we'll have room to put the bullseye on.
We're going to eliminate the fact that we have windows in here. We're going to fill everything in with a composite panel. It has a wood backing, fiberglass on the outside. Just going to kind of neaten everything up. We're going to take the radius corner out, make everything square. Back cut this, take an inch off of it, leave an inch overhang, fill it in from the backside, bond it up, cover our windows.
Coming up on West Coast Customs.
Okay, we got our jig set up. Now the fun part starts.
Once the tank gets here, I think this thing will be able to get wrapped and be able to put this thing together and get it off on the road. So there's a ton of work on this RV. Right now, Ish is finishing up the interior part. We have the tank people building the tank. We have the fab team building the structure for the tank. And then hopefully we can get Wes in there, start wiring it up so we can get this thing wrapped up.
So I'm running all the conduit for 2 generators. We're gonna have a main generator and a backup generator. We're gonna run that stuff to transfer switches that'll then feed all of the 120 in the RV, and we'll also run a converter to back up all the 12-volt equipment and charge the batteries. I'm running everything inside of the conduit so that if any water does leak down, it won't actually get to the wires themselves. I'm also gonna use the entire metal chassis of the RV as the earth. There's going to be a lot of circuit breakers in place at the generators, at the shore power transfer switches, as well as the main breaker switches themselves. So as far as protection goes, we're pretty well set.
Made a few calls over to our friends at Seismic Audio. Just shipped us over new PA system, DJ equipment, and mics. We're good to go.
So our client wanted a big old sound system outside the bus. So we had to come up with different ideas, a way to package a sound system that has big speakers without actually showing them. We have a big water jet, so actually we're able to actually cut slots inside the side panel. Without having the music actually going through the slots and everything, we'd actually have to cover or open it. And what's cool is the music can be playing, you would never know where it's coming from. Now that we have them cut, we root them back in position, and you never know the speakers there.
Okay, we got our jig set up. Now the fun part starts. Let's take this.
So how are we doing in here? Ooh la la! So I just kind of walked around the RV right now just to check in on it. I see Wes has got all the wiring done, so it looks like the lights, the speakers, everything are in, the TV's in, the walls are in, everything's braced right now for the tank. Once the tank gets here, I think this thing will be able to get wrapped and be able to put this thing together and get it off on the road. So I'm gonna go track Kenny down, find out where we're at with this tank, and then I think we're good to go.
You got it?
Today we brought in a bullseye that we created for Kenny here for this project. He sent us a file about a couple of weeks ago, and we created a mold and then a fiberglass piece. Typically it takes about maybe 3 or 4 days to actually get the file broken up, produce it and make the part and prep it and bring it down here.
So the fiberglass part of the bullseye just arrived. But the biggest thing is we have a lot more to do than just have a fiberglass part. The whole entire mechanism actually goes in the center of it. Kevin's actually going to have water jet off the rings of the target, which is the 2 outer rings and the inner ring, which will trigger the seat to fall down. But the next thing we got to do to get it fitted to the truck, after we get it fitted to the truck, we get in the paint. Now that the frame's all tacked together and it's pretty much in position, the next thing is actually pull it out, get it welded up, and get an etching primer. We can't allow that frame to rust. So basically we etch primered it, put it in black sealer, and then we get it back in here when the tank's inside.
Coming up on West Coast Customs.
So I've separated the artwork into printable panels. I'm going to print it up, get it laminated, and be ready to wrap.
Now we have the walls up and pretty much everything covered. The next step is the floor.
So this RV is huge, which means there's a lot of surface that needs to be wrapped. We had the guys prep it so it's ready for Ian once he gets here and his team on it. Hopefully they get this thing wrapped in a couple days and it looks amazing.
So I verified the measurements of the RV to make sure that none of the graphics will get cut off by the slide out, the door, the windows, just to make sure the logos are the right size and everything will look good once it's printed. So I've separated the artwork into printable panels. I'm going to print it up, get it laminated, and be ready to wrap.
Today we'll be wrapping this RV. It's going to be a challenge. It's big. They've done a lot of construction to it. It's mostly flat, but there are still a lot of obstacles. First, I got to make sure the surface is clean. Got to prep that. Then we get to primer. So that means all the little edges that may peel back, I prep. Then we've got laying the vinyl. So I just got to measure everything up, hang it kind of as a pre-arrangement to make sure everything's going to be in place, and then actually just put it on.
So what we're doing now is Apparently we need a DJ booth for the RV. So I went in there, got a couple dimensions and stuff. So now I'm gonna go ahead and cut some wood, start fabricating a DJ booth. So now, just gotta get it over to Ish, have him wrap it, and put it in the bus, and have somebody wire it, and we can start a little mix.
Now we have the walls up and pretty much everything covered. The next step is the floor. The floor seems like the easiest part, is actually one of the toughest parts. To get the floor done correctly, this floor is actually made of chipboard, which is basically a laminated plywood, basically all these pieces sewed together and glued together. It's very porous. When you lie next to the top of this, it actually magnifies all the wood even more. So what we had to do is actually prep the whole entire surface and take 36 grit and actually GA the whole entire floor. Then come back and actually take a filler and kind of fill all the joints in. Once we got all the joints done, the next thing, get the Linex guys in here, get the seam Linexed.
We got down here to West Coast today to help these guys out with this build. What they're gonna do is build a huge dunk tank in it. So what we did is we're gonna waterproof the floor. Right now we're gonna jump in there, give a nice coat of primer down. It's gonna dry in about 2 hours. Then we're gonna hop back in there right away, start spraying down the Linex. And that product dries in about 10 to 15 seconds, and we'll get on out of here. Okay, now we got the floor sealed up. It's all Linex and premium. Now it's time to put the logo on it. Since it's gonna have a lot of water in it, we decided to go with the textured finish on this one. West Coast Customs went ahead and cut us out a huge Cracker Jack logo that we're gonna put in the center of the floor. Now it's time to get it done.
So our friends at Linex came in. We always throw some crazy challenges at them. And really, I mean, this thing is just about done. Right now, all the walls are finished, all the wiring's done, all the lighting's in, the audio system's just about complete on it. We're just waiting for one last thing, the tank. Once the tank's in, we'll get Kenny up there and dunk him.
This is actually our template for the passenger side and also the driver's side window. What I'm doing right here is getting a piece of acrylic and putting this on top of it. We're gonna router out the acrylic. After I get the acrylic routed, we're gonna put this molding on the actual acrylic and taking it outside and doing a test fit on it. And if everything goes good, we should be able to final fit it.
To make this all work, the bullseye is key. We gotta figure out the sensor that's inside the bullseye so when somebody throws something at it, it activates the seat to drop the person into the water. This is very, very tricky, so I'm gonna put Louis on it and hopefully he can engineer his way out of this one.
Right now in the fab room, we have two main activities going. We're working on the drop chair. That needs to be mounted on top of a structure that goes up and over the dunk tank and also holds it down. The drop chair is basically been fabricated at this point. We're just kind of fine-tuning it. And the structure is currently out on the table being welded. So hopefully by the end of the day, we should have all that stuff in the bus and hard mounted so that we can push the tank in place.
Here we have the dunk tank seat that we're putting together. It's basically a dunk-by-wire system. Basically, it's an electrical signal that allows this ram to extend and retract, which in turn allows us to retract the pull pin, which allows the seat to drop down. When it comes up, the user pushes the seat up and a spring allows it to lock back in place. Looks good. It's almost all welded and most of the hardware is here, so we should have a working mechanism pretty soon here.
So what we're doing right now, me and Manuel, we're actually tacking the actuator brackets. We're gonna tack it in place, and then after that we're gonna test it, and everything goes pretty good. I'm gonna fully weld everything together. Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Coming up on West Coast Customs. So the Cracker Jack RV is coming along good, but there's still a ton of work to do. So the tank is in. Now the guys got to slide it over so they can weld the support structures and get the wall in. So the Cracker Jack RV is coming along good, but there's still a ton of work to do. The next step really is to cut out the roof so we can get ready for the tank, so once it arrives, we can figure out how we're gonna put it in.
Gonna cut the access hole for the water tank, and then we're gonna start putting all the metal structure for the drop seat. The metal structure is gonna be off of stainless steel tubing. That way it's real strong and actually supports also the roof on the RV, because we're cutting a big old section of it, and we have to make a support for the roof so that when the hot girls are gonna be up there, they don't come down with the roof.
So the guys have been working really, really hard on this build, but now it's really the moment of truth. Hunter's on his way right now to pick up the tank. Once he gets back, we're gonna have to figure out how we're gonna get the tank in the RV. So Hunter just got here with the tank. Next step is getting the tank in that hole. So the tank is in. Now the guys got to slide it over so they can weld the support structures and get the wall in.
So it's almost 3 o'clock in the morning. We're about to slide in the tank in. Hopefully everything goes pretty good, and let's do this because I want to go home.
Coming up on West Coast Customs. So the guys worked really hard last night. They got the tank in. Everything's good to go.
What this filter is going to allow you to do is basically take off all the residue that's off the top of the water.
So we have a 12-channel mixing board at the heart of the audio system.
So we're almost there with the RV. The tank is in place. The walls are going in. Really, the next step is to get the filtration system done for the water, make sure everything works, and hopefully get this thing on the road. So the guys worked really hard last night. They got the tank in. Everything's good to go. Kenny's finishing the pump. By tonight, we should be dunking someone.
Hooking up this nice quality 3/4-inch pump that's going to recirculate our water in about our 5,000-gallon fish tank. So we're going to move some stuff here, basically filter out all the water before it gets pumped back in. Keep it clean and friendly.
So we have a 12-channel mixing board at the heart of the audio system running large PA speakers on either side of the bus. I also incorporated microphone inputs on either side of the bus so that they can use it as a public address system to holler at the crowds or let them know what's going on. They can play kickin' music and whatever's playing on the TV as well. All right, so everything's hooked up. Time to test this bad boy.
So normally on an RV, the jack system is perfect for the amount of weight that's in it. But since we are adding thousands of pounds with the tank and the water and everything else, we need something a little bit more beefier. So right now, Esteban's underneath, welding up some new brackets so we can install some new jack legs, a new pump. We should be good to go.
Okay, so I'm done installing the hydraulic system, plugged in the hose and all the lines.
Hit it! Stop!
It's up! Now what do I do?
Okay, I just finished this overhang for the TV. It's gonna add some shade to cover the glare from the sun. Now it's time to bring it down and give it to Kevin to get it wrapped.
Now the pump is in, the next thing is install a filter. What this filter is going to allow you to do is basically take off all the residue that's off the top of the water, so that way this doesn't become cloudy. So once we get that done, I can load this thing up, fill it up with water, and get this thing fired up.
West Coasters!
West Coast Customs called us out to spray the top of this RV. What the Linux is going to do is going to prevent anybody from slipping up here on a wet surface. We brought black to do the steps. We brought gray to do the roof to keep your feet from burning.
So we're in the home stretch of this build. Everything's going well. There's a couple little pieces left. One of the major pieces is we got to put a pocket finder in it so the Cracker Jack fans can know where this RV is going to be. So I'm going to grab Esteban, get this thing installed, and get this RV on the road.
So this is real easy to install. All you need is just a ignition wire and a ground. That's it.
Coming up on West Coast Customs. Now the next step is fill it with some water and dunk Kenny.
All West Coast employees, please report to the front of the building.
You ready for this? So we're doing a build for Cracker Jack. They had an RV, so we got the RV in, and it was definitely jacked up. I sat down with Jeff, came up with a rendering, showing the dunk tank in the back with a bullseye on the side and a TV showing all the action happening. So I put the whole team on it, stripping it down to bare metal. Then the next step was to cut the holes in the side so we can really see the dunk tank once it's installed. Since we're putting a dunk tank in the back, we needed to build a ton of structure, from the frame rails to a cage around the tank holding it in place. So we went out to Caliquaria to sit with them, go over the build, make sure they're good with it. They started building the tank,
Then the next step was to get Ish on the interior, get Wes on wiring up everything, get Kevin printing out the wrap, install the wrap, and really get this thing done. Now really the next step is to test this thing out.
So the tank is in, seems like everything's good to go. Seats in, targets in, mechanism works. Now the next step is fill it with some water and dunk Kenny.
All West Coast employees, please report to the front of the building. All employees to the front of the building.
You ready for this? You ready to take out all your frustration out on the shop manager?
Oh, yeah.
He's gonna get up there and we're gonna dunk him. So let's do this.
You ready to go?
Let's get this party started, buddy.
Get up there. It's always fun to come out here and do something different for the guys, you know. We're always inside, you know, busting our butt, trying to get projects done, and never really get to have the fun, you know. At the end of the day, it's a whole team effort to get this whole entire project done, from everybody from the top to the bottom. You know, they're big projects. We're always in these crunch deadlines, but at the end we get to have fun, we get to enjoy the project, and off to the next build.
So the final test has been tested. Kenny was dunked by almost everybody in the whole shop. I think it was good fun, you know, for the guys to be able to throw beanbags and dunk their manager. The RV turned out amazing, seeing it come to life, and now sending it to Huntington Beach and get displayed. I think it's gonna be a great weekend, and I'm excited to see what they're gonna think of it. Next stop, Huntington Beach. So I'm here in Huntington Beach at the US Open of Surfing, and it's a huge event, but it's cool, you know, to see all these people out here doing what they do. The RV is here, made it in one piece, everything's set up. I'm gonna go get with the Cracker Jack people and hopefully give them a really good surprise. What's up, guys?
What's up, man?
How you doing?
It's great to see you.
Good to see you.
We're
in this
excited.
nice weather out here.
Yeah,
Hi.
absolutely.
Good to see you. So you excited to see this?
We can't wait. I want to get down there. I want to run down there.
So from our ideas at the table, you know, I think you're going to be pretty happy
I
with
hope
it.
so. I mean, we're betting a lot on this thing, and we got these snacks with impact, and I can't wait to see how you got that
I think
across.
it's getting an impact. It looks like everybody's having a good time. It's a total transformation from what was delivered to the shop.
Oh, man. Whoa. That is not the RV we dropped off.
That is unreal.
That is crazy. Honestly, this is an incredible day for the brand and an incredible day for us, right? Because you start this off, you know the starting point, you don't quite know what you're going to get at the end. One of the biggest things to get across was that these snacks were different, have an impact for people's day, and I feel like the design and everything they did totally got that across in a very clever way.
So when this thing showed up, when I said dunk tank, I think, you know, your reaction was a little like, what?
Yeah.
Dunk tank.
When you think about this project from the beginning, it's a huge campaign. We have lots of social media going on, lots of online content, but the most important, the most pivotal part is this live experience. We were thinking, how do we take that feel of Snacks with Impact and get it on the road so that people around the country could experience it? It's going to be a big part of the success of this brand.
So we did a TV there on the outside, so there's cameras from the target and there's a camera in the water.
I can't believe the change.
When we brought it, it was just torn up and it was really a mess. And so we just figured if he could do anything with it, it would be better than the way it was today. I actually don't even think it's the same RV. I just feel huge relief.
Oh man, this is unbelievable.
That's cool.
It's really, I love it. Is that the crew who worked on it?
Yeah, we had everybody sign it.
That is phenomenal.
We did the logo in Line-X on the floor, so you can throw packages in here, whatever you need to do, but you also could have like a meeting.
We knew we were going to get something good, but it is way better than we expected. It's a magnetic vehicle. It brings everybody together so that they can know more about the brand.
Yeah, we did curtains back there so they could change back there.
That's a little changing room and then off into the dunk tank. It's a beautiful thing. I guess that was the target.
That's the beanbags.
There's no way anyone's walking past that vehicle without turning their head, checking out what's going on there, and that's exactly what we want.
So the reveal went great. You know, everybody was really blown away when they seen it. The team at the shop, you know, we worked some late nights on this. We had some challenges. This is something we've never done before. You know, putting that much water in the back of an RV, how much weight it is, you know, all the engineering that went with it. And we did it. You know, the team always does what they do. In the 11th hour, we pull together miracles and we create things like this. Now it's time for me to get back to the shop and work on the next one.
Next week on West Coast Custom.
I'm in New Orleans. I came out here to see Kid Rock. We wanted to talk about a build.
To have something crazy old school, but still have the, you know, kind of the new amenities.
So the next thing is get my guys over here, get the car completely stripped down to metal, and get it surfaced.
Everything on the car is going black with some gold trim. This thing's got to be perfect.